Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about segments that are made from chords. So remember, two chords. A chord is a segment that goes through your circle and ends. The endpoints have to be on the circle. It can go through the center if you want. That would be a diameter, but it doesn't have to. It just has to have where the endpoints end on your circle. So if I have two chords where they cross, to figure out the length, I know that it's going to be the product of one of the chords. That's going to be equal to the product of the other chord. So in other words, if I have the length of AE, this guy, times EB, that's going to be equal to this guy here, EC times ED. Right where they cross, that's where you're going to get your four pieces. So for one chord, it's going to take the part and part, multiply them together, and you're going to set it equal to the other guys, part and part. Again, right where they cross. So let's try that with this one, this easy one first. I'm going to multiply. So this is my two pieces right here. I'm going to multiply this and this. So for my first part, I'm going to get 12 times x, and that's going to be equal to this guy times this guy. Again, right where they cross. And I'm going to get 6 times 10. So I get 12x is going to be equal to 60, which means x is equal to 5. And that's it. They will get a little more challenging because you will have to factor in some of these. We're going to multiply our 2x times 12. So I have 2x times 12, and that's going to be equal to this chord's product, which is going to be 15 times x plus 3. So 2x times 12 is going to give me 24x, and that's going to be equal to 15x plus 45. Subtracting 15x from both sides, I'm going to get 9x is equal to 45, which means x is equal to 5. Same thing for this one. I'm going to multiply my x times the x plus 8. So I have x times x plus 8, and that's going to be equal to 6 times 8. And when I distribute here, I'm going to get x squared plus 8x, and that is equal to 6 times 8, which is 48. I'm going to move my 48 over. I'm going to get x squared plus 8x minus 48, and that is equal to 0. Then I have to factor this guy. So I need to know what numbers multiply to negative 48 that also add to a positive 8. And I'm going to get 12 and negative 4 as my two factors. Since I have a coefficient of 1, I'm just going to drop these straight into my binomial. So I'm going to have x plus 12 and x minus 4 is equal to 0. So I have two different equations going on. X plus 12 equals 0, and x minus 4 is equal to 0. So subtracting 12 from both sides, I get x is equal to negative 12. Adding 4 to both sides, x is equal to 4. So looking at these guys, I need to know which value I could actually use. Just because it's negative doesn't mean I'm not going to use it. It matters when I plug it into my length if I get a negative. Then that will tell me if I can use it or not. I'm looking at my 4. If I plug a 4 in here, 4 works, and then 4 plus 8, that gives me 12. That works. I'm okay there. But this negative 12, I can't have a negative length, which means this guy can't be one of my answers. So I'm just left with x is equal to 4. I can't use that negative 12 because it gives me a negative length right here. Going a little more challenging, again, I'm going to have to factor these. In your homework tonight, you are going to have to factor some of these problems. I want to figure out the value of the length of kh. Before I do that, I got to find the value of x here. So I'm going to multiply my fk times my kh. So I have x minus 1 times x minus 6, and that's going to be equal to ek times kg, so 6 times 6. And distributing here, I'm going to get x squared minus 6x minus x plus 6, and that is equal to 36. So I'm going to combine my like terms, x squared minus 7x, and then I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. So 6 minus 36 is going to give me negative 30, and that is equal to 0. Here again, I'm going to have to factor what multiplies to negative 30 and adds to negative 7. And that's going to give me negative 10 and a positive 3. So straight into my binomials, x minus 10, x plus 3, all equals 0. So I get x minus 10 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0, adding 10. I get x is equal to 10. Subtracting 3, x is equal to negative 3. Again, I have to check when I plug a negative in here, what will that give me? If I plug this negative 3 minus 1, that's going to give me negative 4. I can't have a negative link, so I know that one can't be an answer. So I'm going to use my x equals 10. When I plug that in for my KH down here, I'm going to get 10 minus 6, which is going to leave me with 4. So KH is equal to 4. And one more, if you want to pause and see if you can solve this one on your own, go ahead. Okay, so I'm going to multiply my MQ times my SM. I have x times 2x plus 2, and that's going to equal 8 times 5, multiplying my 8 times my 5 right here. Distributing, I'm going to get 2x squared plus 2x, and that is equal to 40. I'm going to move this guy over, so I get 2x squared plus 2x minus 40 is equal to 0. And then I notice that I can take out a 2 from all of these, so divide out by a 2, and I'm left with x squared plus x minus 20 is equal to 0. And from here, I can figure out what multiplies negative 20 and adds to 1. That's going to give me a negative 4 and a positive 5. So I get x minus 4 and x plus 5 together multiply to give me 0. So x minus 4 equals 0, or x plus 5 is equal to 0. Adding 4 to both sides, x is equal to 4, or x is equal to negative 5. Again, I have to check. When I plug this negative 5 here, negative 5, that means MQ would have a length of negative 5, which doesn't work. I can't have a negative length. My question is asking for the length of MS, this right here. So I'm going to take my 2 times 4 plus 2, which is going to give me MS to be 10. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions on your homework. Like I said, you are going to have to factor some. Make sure you're looking where your chords cross. That's where you're going to take the two products. All right, guys, good luck.